All right.
Second thing to go is your memory, and I forgot the first thing. I'd like to call to order the Hammond Plan Commission meeting for December 16th. Would you please rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? You're welcome. Highlight of my days. Ms. Morris-Smith, would you please call the roll?
Roger Rock.
Here.
Michael Dye.
Here.
Ronald Sims.
Here.
William Hutton.
Here.
Thomas Cassidy.
Here.
Dan Vitale.
Here.
Thomas Daverton.
He was there, yes, he's there, not mute.
He's on mute. Mr. Taberton is online but on mute, so
Give us a wave.
I will say he's here.
Marcus Taylor.
Here.
8 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes for October 21st, 2024. Commissioners, you should have received in your board packet a copy of those minutes of October 21st, 2024. The chair would entertain a motion for approval. Thank you, Councilman Spitality.
I'll second.
Seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Hutton. It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the minutes for October 21st, 2024. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Rock.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Cassidy.
Yes.
Dan Vitale.
Yes.
Thomas Daverton.
He's raising his hand. I believe that's a yes in favor.
Dean Button.
Yes.
Technically, you can't, Dean, you can't take that as a yes, but you can
Thank you.
show he's here, but we got to be able to audibly hear him, and I see him feverishly working to do that, but
Thank you, Mr. Westland. So we would count his vote as no vote, I guess.
correct.
7 ayes. 0 nays. Motion passed.
Yeah, Tom, make sure to give your phone permission to use the audio. It might ask for permission.
Next item on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes for November 19th, 2024. There's a note in your packet.
There it goes.
Thank you, Mr. Daverton.
My previous answer was yes.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the meeting minutes for November 19th, 2024. You should have received in your packet a note from the Plan Commission Secretary indicating that they are not available. The chair would entertain a motion to defer the approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to table.
Second.
Motion to table by Commissioner Kazmierzak, seconded by Commissioner Dye. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Rock.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Cassidy.
Yes.
Dan Vitale.
Yes.
Thomas Daverton.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes. 0 nays. Motion passed.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item number 4, old business. Old business is CP 24-12, petition for the Hammond Redevelopment Commission for a 37-lot and 4 outlot subdivision known as Memorial Park addition to the city of Hammond in an S1 open space and recreational facilities district located at 1301 Highland Street, adjacent within the city of Hammond, Lake County, Indiana. Mrs. Morris-Smith, have the notification requirements been met?
Yes, they have.
Thank you very much. We'll ask the petitioner to identify himself and make a presentation to the Plan Commission, please.
Of course. Good evening, everyone. I am Thomas Logan Novak. 7134 Birch Ave is my home address. I'm the assistant city planner, but today I'm going to function as petitioner on this case. Yes.
Is there any objection from the commissioners that Mr. Novak act as both the petitioner and the staff representative? Is there any objection? Any objection? Please proceed, Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Department of Redevelopment, I'm speaking tonight. In front of you is the subdivision plat of the Memorial Park Addition. This is land east of the Pullman Standard neighborhood and thus east of Wallace Road and north of Highland Street. Director of City Planning Brian Poland went into details of the subdivision plat at the Plan Commission's November 19th, 2024 meeting. I do not want to burden the commission by repeating everything, but I think it's important to cover the details again for matter of public record and for any members of the public who are here today. So the Department of Redevelopment in Hammond secured ownership of Memorial Park from the Parks Department of Hammond fairly recently. Their aim was to do something like the Clark Fields, neighborhood that's springing up in Robertsdale, build new housing. We understand that there's a need in Hammond and in Lake County for new housing, and that some people in the neighborhood want to upgrade to a different home and not leave the neighborhood. Some people want to come to Hammond for the first time, which is great. But so we did this subdivision in line with the historic East Hammond neighborhood that surrounds it. So it's not a copycat of Clark Fields, but it is informed by that process we went through. The plat contains lots for 28 single-family homes on 120 foot deep and on average 50-foot wide lots. Most of them are 50 feet wide. So the average is 6,000 square feet, though some range all the way into 11,000 and some square feet due to being located on corners and curves and things like that. Lots 2 through 9 are to contain 8 independently owned duplexes across 4 duplex structures. And lot 1 on the north end of the development would be a 3.05 acre site that will serve in the future as a senior housing complex. And work is underway to do an RFP for that. That's separate from this process tonight. So when you look at the plat, you'll see several new streets will be an extension of the existing streets. Line Street will extend east 49 feet. Sagamore Street, which is one not many people may know, will extend east from Wallace Road in 2 separate sections for a combined length of 310 feet, providing access to the interior of the site. Ray Avenue and Noble Avenue will be the 2 streets extending north, which are where the new single-family housing and the duplexes and all that stuff will be built upon. So it will mostly be Ray and Noble Avenue addresses. Ray, an extension of 840 feet, and Noble Avenue, an extension of 976 feet. Utility easements. So, new utility easements will be located in both the front and rear yards. All utilities will be buried, as is pretty standard in new subdivisions. The sewers will be separated into sanitary and into storm water, so there will be, that's always good for the neighborhood and for the environment. A previously existing NIPSCO utility easement that bisected this property but was never used was released. Instead, NIPSCO will use one of those new easements that we put in and bury their lines. A new easement was created on the eastern boundary of the property to cover where the pole line was actually constructed in reference to. So that old easement that was removed, that was for a pole line that wasn't run through, but there is a pole line on the east end of the property. And an easement was created to formalize that. I'll also mention at this time, now that we're talking about easements and utilities, the change to the plat that has been made from the November 19th meeting. The subdivision plat was altered to address a conflict in an easement line and property line for Lot 1 and Outlot D, which is the northwest corner of the site. So the property line was moved so that the entire easement lies in Lot 1 where the senior housing will be, to avoid fence conflicts with the underground sewer that was located on the previous property line. We want to be able to let them build a fence line on their property and not disturb any of the utilities, basically. So those center line distances I read earlier of the new street dedications have been adjusted accordingly. Covenants are in the process for the new single-family housing. We're working on those and debating internally We want to write them so that the character of the neighborhood stays in line with East Hammond and Pullman Standard, but also allows for a certain quality of development and a certain size of homes and things like that to match the neighborhood. It's important noting that the Pullman Standard neighborhood, which surrounds this neighborhood, is on the National Register of Historic Places. It's a historic district. So we're keeping that in mind. The intent is to offer the single-family lots via an auction, much like we did for Clark Fields. That will happen sometime next year. We wanted to fit in a larger, high-density residential lot into this development because we heard the need for senior housing and things like that. So we made sure to work that into the north end of the lot, on Lot 1, as you'll see on your plat. The duplexes will also be a part of that senior facility building project. And again, they will be across lots 2 through 9, so it'll be eight units in 4 buildings, but each unit will be owned independently. They will have a shared common party wall. So keep in mind that this will be coming back to the Plan Commission in February for a rezoning. Right now, it's zoned S1, as in line with it being Memorial Park. But we will be coming back to ask for an R1U zoning for single family, R2 for the duplex lots, and R4 for the senior living facility. And the outlots will remain S1 zoning. 3 of the outlots will be for retention of stormwater, to make sure that there's no flooding problems in this neighborhood from new development. And 1 of the outlots, I believe, outlot D, will remain open space to be determined of its use. And of course, then we'll have to go through the Board of Zoning Appeals process for other things in March or April, since the common party walls and the duplexes, different things like that, but that will concern the BZA, not you guys. One last thing I wanted to note is that there's an odd little 2.5-foot wide alley on the east side of Willard Avenue, on the edge of this new plat. That platted alley right away was never developed. It's going to be vacated, and that land will revert to the original Willard Avenue lots to avoid any confusion, since many people use that area of land already. I think I've covered things as best I can. If there's any questions from commissioners.
Yeah, very complete, Tom.
thank
Very
you.
well done. Yes, thank you. Questions from the commission to the petitioner?
What was the first?
Please go ahead, Councilman
What was
Spitali.
going first, as far as the lots go? Going to be the single families or duplex? How was that going to go?
My understanding, and this is obviously all in, in flux, it could change, but my understanding is to prepare the single-family lots so that they can be auctioned off next summer, and the senior housing we probably won't see that until 2026 or later 25 at the earliest, but I don't want to put a hard date on that. Keep in mind, I do know that bids went out for the infrastructure improvements. Those have to come first. And if I'm not mistaken, those were read last Thursday at Board of
Correct.
Public. So bids for the infrastructure were read at last Thursday's Board of Public Works meeting. So those will be chosen soon, and obviously that's, first things first, we got to get the utility, we got to get the street in and all that kind of stuff, so.
Any other questions to the petitioner? Thank you, Mr. Novak. A very fine report.
Yeah.
So next, we're going to open it up to a public hearing. I need to remind remonstrators that they're obviously willing to come and speak. We'll do in-house first, and then we'll do online second. We need you to identify yourself. If you're in attendance, there's a sign-in sheet before you speak. You'll need to state your name, your address, sign in on the sign-in sheet for that. Statements in the public hearing need to be addressed to the commission, not to the petitioner or the audience, and that we'd like your statements to avoid any unnecessary repetition, and the commission reserves the right to set a time limit on any comments. After the public remonstration, we'll allow the petitioner an opportunity, if there are questions that he can answer, we'll allow him that opportunity to do so. So at this point in time, I'll open the meeting to a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that, in person, that wishes to come and address your questions to the Plan Commission, you're welcome to do so now. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this petition? So now I'll move over to our online folks. Anyone that's online and present that wishes to address the Plan Commission during the public hearing, we'll need you to clearly state your name and address before you begin. Anyone online wishing to address the Plan Commission about the petition? Last call. Anyone wishing to address the petition, the Plan Commission on this petition? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting. I assume there's no other further comments you'll have, Mr. Novak, on this petition?
No, just whenever you want the staff recommendation.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. So at this point in time, we'll turn it over to Mr. Novak for a staff report and recommendation. Please remain
Okay,
seated.
thanks. So you'll find your staff report. I went over all those details. I'm not going to read the whole 2 pages for you guys, but staff recommendation reads, as the subdivision plat was sent out for agency review, no objections were received. Staff's opinion is that the plat meets the requirements set forth in the subdivision control ordinance and recommends for preliminary and final approval of the subdivision plat, subject to any technical corrections. The Plan Commission agrees with the staff report. It is recommended that the staff report is adopted as findings of fact. Thank you.
Questions from the commission to staff? Any questions from the commissioners to staff? Any questions? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to let me try to get this right. Chair would entertain a motion that the plat meets the requirements set forth in the subdivision control ordinance, and we recommend that preliminary and final approval of the subdivision plat is approved subject to any technical corrections. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Kazmierzak, seconded by Commissioner Dye, to approve the subdivision preliminary and final approval subject to any technical corrections. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Brown.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Kazmierzak.
Yes.
Dan Spitali.
Yes.
Tom Daverton.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Motion passed.
The chair would also entertain a motion that we adopt the staff report as the finding of fact.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Kazmierzak.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dye. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Brown.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Kazmierzak.
Yes.
Dan Spitali.
Yes.
Thomas Daverton.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Motion passed.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Novak, for your presentations.
Of course, you're welcome. Thank you.
Is there any other old business? Item 5 is new business. Is there any new business for the Plan Commission to be presented?
Not that I am aware of.
Thank you. Next item is correspondence. You should have received in your packet on the last page a listing of a proposed meeting schedule for 2025. This is consistent with previous years' calendar. You'll notice that in January and February, due to conflicts with federal holidays, those meetings have been pushed to Tuesday at the regular time. And then we keep November and December open for flexibility, predominantly based upon the City Common Council's meeting schedule. So at this time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the meeting schedule for 2025 for the Hammond Plan Commission.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you,
Second.
Commissioner Hutton. Thank you, Councilman Spitali. It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the meeting schedule for 2025 for the Hammond Plan Commission. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Patrick Wright.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Casimir.
Yes.
Dan Spitali.
Yes.
Thomas Albertson.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is item 7, Commissioners' Comments. Any Commissioner comments?
Mr. President, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Commissioner Dye. I echo Commissioner Dye's comment. I wish you all have a wonderful, festive, and safe and healthy holiday season. Next item on the agenda is item 8, staff comments.
I'll just reciprocate and say Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope you find peace and joy this time of year, and hope it stays a little bit warm for a while.
Thank you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9, public comment. Is there anyone wishing to make a comment at this time? Anyone wishing to make a comment to the Plan Commission? Any comments? Hearing none, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Kazmierzak, seconded by Commissioner Hutton to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.